We are at Justin Beansmith's garage. Now this is a pretty insane opportunity. He is a BF Goodrich supported trophy truck driver. We are getting to go inside his garage and see things up close and personal. Now before we even got into the garage, there is some pretty incredible machinery out here. It's probably £500,000 worth of just the support trucks that are used for his racing. It's all about trying to reduce the pit times and get the optimum performance, but let's go inside. Okay, so we're in Justin Beansmith's garage or workshop, and it's unreal what's going on in here. Now, I'm a motorbike rider, so I'm used to, like 80, 100 horsepower. The weapons that they are building in here is mind-blowing. So I'm going to talk you through some of the things that have just gone bam as we've gone through. This trophy drop here is in the category where there's pretty much no rules. They can do whatever they want to create absolute monsters. This thing's pushing out about 1,000 horsepower. Now, when you're thinking about that kind of power going to the wheels and the traction, there's a lot of balance between the weight, the amount of fuel it can carry. You're looking at 1.7 to 2.2 miles per gallon, which means if we come around to the back, you can see the fuel cell, which is 112 gallons in there. That's a lot of weight. You've got power, you've got four wheels on the ground, you've got something like 28 to 34 inch suspension travel, and there's this massive art between trying to work out how much power you can have, how long you can make your tyres last. With that much horsepower, they can burn out a set of BF Goodrich tyres in 60 miles, but they're going out into massive desert races. They've got a fuel tank, so they almost need to work out how to drive appropriately with the traction and the power into the tyres to make the tyres last long enough for how much fuel they have. And then there's this huge logistical organisation of getting their support to where the fuel is and doing pit stops. Now in the trophy truck class, they're literally winning by seconds, which means if you lose a few seconds in your pit, you've effectively lost the race. Now, they're pumping fuel into here at the same time as changing a tyre, like the tyre would be here. They're changing their tyres so quickly, they're making sparks on the bolts. Fuel, sparks. There are regulations on like the safety and the clothing that these guys have to wear in refueling, but yeah, bombs. It's pretty terrifying, the sort of stuff that these guys are doing to win the races. Now, this vehicle here looks like it's being built right now. This is actually what happens to the vehicle after every single race. The engine is about £85,000. The overall car, you're looking at about $800, maybe $650 to $800,000 to build a car like this. And every 1,200 to 1,400 miles, that engine needs rebuilding, which is about 25k a rebuild. And the state that this is in right now, a bit of a shell, is actually what happens to it after every single race. Like, this isn't being built, this is being stripped down, checked, fine-tuned, rebuilt to go back out and race. So like the money behind trophy truck racing is mind-boggling. The manpower to build one of these initially, you're looking at around 6,000 hours of man. If you work that out to like an average day, that's 250 days just to make it. The turnaround after a race, as I said, this is a post-race turnaround, is about 300 man hours. 300 man hours per race. I thought my motorbikes were high maintenance. It suddenly makes what I do seem really, well, it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all, but it's comparative, right? Now, as we walk around this workshop, there's pretty Gucci stuff everywhere, and the fabrication into these vehicles is just beautiful. To the point that they were just telling us that the industry actually has a challenge with manpower because their fabricators, technicians are so good. The aerospace industry, which has mega bucks money, is actually stealing the guys with, big paychecks and shiny offerings of work. But the funny thing is they go off, work in the aerospace industry for a couple of years and realize it's really dull compared to trophy trucks, and loads of them end up coming back. But it just gives you a bit of an idea of the knowledge, the experience, the quality that's going into building these trophy trucks. Now, if we come over here, we've actually got kind of like the workhorse trophy truck. Now, if you think about these guys are doing 4 to 9 races a year, and a lot of these things in rally, you get to pre-run the track. You don't put your race vehicle out to pre-run the track because that needs to be rebuilt every 12 to 1400 miles. So they have like the workhorse trophy truck. Now this still costs like £650,000. Like look at the size of that BF Goodrich tyre right now. Absolute monster. They're like $900 a piece. Anyway, this truck is sort of all air conditioned and it's got like windows and stuff. And this is sort of the more comfortable way to pre-run the track and get the rally notes. Because when they're at race pace, the navigator, the pilot are working together and they can work out on the test runs where there's like massive bumps and whoops. Now that car that we just looked at can go 152 miles an hour through the dirt. So like the speed is insane. Now there's one more car I really want to show you. This is Dan Bilzerian's truck. Now this is a trophy truck. I guess he's a guy with a lot of money and wants some really, really spanky toys. So they've built this for him. But instead of it being like a trophy truck that you'd expect to see, this has got the plushest interior. It's got both sound systems. This has a pressurized cabin because if he's driving in the dust, he doesn't want to get in the dust, right? So it has like a sealed cabin and it doesn't let dust in and all this magic stuff. It's got like shiny, sparkly LEDs. The funny thing though, he might have rolled it recently, so it's currently having a £50,000 rework because of the rolling. Now, the tyre side of things, obviously BF Goodrich have been amazing enough to support me to come and see the Mint 400, so it would only be fair to give you a little bit of a random tyre story. The guys here are saying that within 2 months to 2 years, every car or customer they get coming into their garage ends up converting to BF Goodrich, basically because for the money, you get the reliability, you get the quality, you get the performance, you pay more for a tyre, but if you're not getting the same number of flats in the race, you know, if it costs you 200 grand to enter a race and your tyre's letting you down, you get the better tyres. Anyway, this guy can get pretty much everything for free, right? I mean, he's huge, he's got massive social media channels, but he actually pays for his tyres because he's realised how much better they are. Yeah, there's this fabrication stuff going on all over the place, and it's been really cool actually seeing what it takes to make the trucks that we're going to see out in the desert this afternoon racing. So we're going to leave here now. I think we're going to some kind of cowboy saloon, which I guess is pretty fitting seeing as I like cowboys and my calling in life was to be a cowgirl, but I missed that and decided to ride motorbikes. And then this afternoon we're going to see the qualifying rounds of the Mint 400 where having the knowledge of what it takes to build a trophy truck, it's going to make that a whole nother experience watching them in the desert this afternoon. Awesome garage.